We are back for another season, and it all begins tonight with round one of the BiS Formula 3 Championship here at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, better known as Mosport. New drivers, new teams, and a fresh shot at glory. But make no mistake, the returning front runners haven't gone anywhere. This is one of the most competitive lineups we've ever seen in BiS, and over the next 18 races, we're going to find out who rises, who surprises, and who takes control of the title fight. It starts at one of the fastest, most unforgiving tracks on the schedule tonight. It's Mosport. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a huge warm welcome to you here on Pit Road Productions. My name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me on the booth, ladies and gentlemen, is Mr. Reese, the Southpaw Racer Gardener, rocking the only bit of Pit Road Production headwear we've ever made, ladies and gentlemen. And in the production booth is the one and only Mr. Christian Hill. Reese, it's great to be back here on the air. Not only that, with a new series as well. We've got Formula 3. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your thoughts on it and then lead us into the schedule?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, we're staying with wings and slicks after the IndyCar season ended a few weeks ago, and the F3 cars are a bit slower than the Indy cars, but I think the racing is going to be just as, if not more, intense. It's going to be magnificent. We've got a great set of drivers ready to take to the track here at Mosport for the first round of the season, and speaking of, it should be time for us to go through the schedule and what is to come for tonight. So, our 2025 schedule starts at Mosport. We go to Thruxton for round 2. Absolutely adore that track. Imola in Italy for round 3, and then we go to Bathurst for round 4. I'm excited for that one. Spa and Jerez to round off the season. 3 races per night, and looking forward to bringing you every single one of them here on Pit Road Productions. Mosport is an incredible circuit, 2.45 miles of full commitment. It's a driver's track, high-speed sweepers, elevation, and no time to breathe. Turn 1 is flat-out bravery, then has a blind crest into Clayton at turn 2, never lifting until turn 3, the tricky Quebec corner, where the track wraps back around, then to turn 4, where the track drops away down to Moss Corner, the slowest point on the circuit, but one of the most important. Get the exit right, you're flying down the long Andretti straight with the best passing zone at the end into turn 8. The final corners are narrow, high speed, and always sketchy. This place punishes hesitation, and there's nowhere to hide. In Formula 3 cars, it is edge of the seat action from start to finish. There's really only one real braking zone here, Zippy, and that is down into Moss, but we are going to be seeing, I think, most of the passes happen into turn 8, because you need to get that slipstream down the Mario Andretti straightaway.
Absolutely, Reece. Certainly going down into Moss Corner, it's definitely a terrifying part of the track. But you know what? That's a challenge these drivers are going to have. Let's see in what kind of format they're going to do it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look at the race details here. Race 1 is going to be 12 laps that are going to be set by qualifying. Race 2 will actually take the race 1 result and have that for your grid for race 2, another 15-minute race. Sorry, a 12-lap race. Feature race is 21 laps with a mandatory pit stop, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be about 25 minutes roughly, and we're going to have a 5-minute warm-up in between. It is a standing start, so that's definitely going to be a lot of fun, and there is one fast repair available per race. There's no full course yellows, and it is a fuel limited feature race, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you as well, it's a fixed setup, so definitely going to be a test purely on driver talent and indeed on strategy.
Yeah, absolutely, and worth pointing out as well, the top 10 will be inverted on the grid for the feature race, so that adds another little wrinkle to the action for today. Oh man, there's going to be so much good racing here tonight. We still have a couple of minutes remaining in qualifying, but tell you what, we're seeing the usual suspects up near the front, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look at how it's working out so far, and definitely some familiar names up there. But I tell you what, Reece, I want to take this little chance we've got to talk about the Toronto Indy that just happened this weekend. And I got to say, we're going to give out some very specific mentions here. First one being Cedric O'Hayan. He's currently leading the Radical Cup Canada the Masters Championship for that. And the Masters is more for the seasoned gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. It means they're no longer a young gun looking to try and make their way into Formula 1. It's a little bit more of a not laid back, they still want to race, but a little bit more reserved strategy, I'd say. And you know, they're not going to go for the impossible move kind of deal. So, but anyway, Cedric O'Hine is indeed leading that, and he was there at the weekend along with John Benvalid was down there. I believe Diego Ziccarelli was down there. All of these guys, BIS members. Not only that, Cedric and John both have these beautiful Lima Racing Radical SR3s, and they both have the Pit Road Productions logo on, so I'm definitely going to give them a shout out. And again, thank Cedric O'Hine for sending me that Lima Racing care package. The merch, honestly, guys, you got to follow these guys on Instagram, Lima Racing Official. It's got some underscores in it as well. We'll have to we'll get a graphic made up for and get that on the air for you, hopefully by the next round. But yeah, definitely good to see BIS drivers down there as well. Not only that, we have Rob Burgess. He was down there as well. He got a podium. Reedman was down there. Oh my gosh, Alana Kana was down there. Brady Clapham was down there. Caden Goodrich was down there. A lot of good drivers down there, and a lot of podiums as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of that merch care package they sent you, I still want to pick you wearing that fanny pack. Hopefully Christian can put that up on the broadcast for next round as well. But qualifying's done, Zippy. It's time for us to go through the grid for race 1. And you know what? Only 0.04 of a second in it for pole position. This is going to be a crazy, crazy first race. Andrew Hardman is on pole position for MTC Motorsports. Aussie Mill Wayne joins him on the front row. We have Clay Morris starting in third alongside Connor Clubbine from Britain West Motorsport. Asad Nikadambev is back for this season. The young Carter starting out a fifth alongside Joseph Yang, one of the former admins of BIS, making his return after a long time out of it. Tyler Scurali and Ariane Pagadala starting 7th and 8th, with the top 10 being rounded out by Australia's Eric Fenson, starting alongside one of our favourites, Mark McDonald.
Yeah, Mark McDonald actually won the F1600 championship, so it's good to see him back. Alex McLean, he's a good guy. He's back here. He's there in P11 alongside Keenan Harris, taking up your 7th row, ladies and gentlemen. Mauricio Parada, he's part of the Nakata racing team. He's there alongside BIS founder Michael Broomhead for 13th and 14th. Making him our way a little bit further back, Stuart Ross, great to see him back. And oh my gosh, he needs to get a haircut, bless him. He's there in P15 alongside Lima Racing leader, Mr. Cedric O'Hine. As we head a little bit further back, Nicholas Calander, he's back there alongside Pit Road Productions' very own Mr. Richard Swindell, one of the commentary staff here in the booth. John Benvalid, he takes P19, another one of the Lima Racing fellows, with Connor Janateus rounding out your top 20. As we have a look, Robert Ridgway takes 21st with Robert Tesso. Definitely, I think it's a debut round for them, I believe. Tessio, he's there in 22nd, and closing out your grid, Tyler Broody as well, another new driver. Great to see them joining the grid. And again, ladies and gentlemen, if you do want to get involved with BIS, just leave a comment here on the YouTube channel. By all means, we'll get the information to you. If not, we do have a QR code that pops up throughout the broadcast, which will help you find your way.
Yeah, for sure. And, well, just scan the QR code and join the Discord. Make sure to get in on this action, because I do believe they are still taking new drivers. Just make sure that you notify Race Control with at least 24 hours to the start of the next event if you want to have a run. Well, grid time is over now, and it looks like we are ready to get things going here. Hardman on pole, and the revs will begin to rise for the very short run into turn 1. Standing start here in the Formula 3s. And the season is go. Andrew Hardman getting a good start, as it seems we don't have Asad Nikadambev on the grid. He's missed the start. Side by side for second, coming out of turn 1, Clay Morris versus Aussie Mill Wayne. Up the inside is Mill Wayne at turn 2, but these wings and slicks machines, the faster you go, the more downforce you have, and he's able to maintain the outside line as Clay Morris try and sneak up the inside there, as it's almost wide from Connor Clubin there. And keep your eyes out down to Moss. Things are starting to get a bit leery in the mid-pack.
Oh, definitely, and already the field's starting to spread out very slightly. You can see there's about half a second, between P4 and P5 as I think something's happening in the grid. I'm seeing some interesting incidents occurring a little bit further back. But I've got to say, a little bit of a shout actually to Clay Morris. It looks like he's updated his livery, and it's now more to be in the Weir Racing colours that's being currently represented by Rob Burgess in the real Radical Canada Cup.
Side by side further back here, the 14 alongside, and there's the move complete there for Connor Klubin there, up the inside through the final turn, and now he can start chasing that top two. Hardman and Morris leading the end of the first lap, as it looks like we've had a problem for Alex McLean. I see him falling down the order, and he's towed back to pit lane.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a rough start for him as well. Not what he had in mind, but having a look through the field right now, there is a hard charger, and indeed it's one of the younger drivers in the grid. It's the 67 there of Stuart Ross. Alex McLean's car, though, appears to be a couple of nuggets short of a Happy Meal there, Reese.
And looks like it. We'll endeavour to get a replay to see what happened to him as soon as we can. But for now, keep an eye here on Stuart Ross. Up ahead of him, Mark McDonald and Joseph Yang trading spots for last position in the top 8. And oh dear, I heard a contact sound. It looks like that's Nicholas Colander that's turned around at Moss. And he just doesn't seem like too much damage there on the number 5, but he'll get going at the back of the field. Already had quite a bit happen in this race. It's side by side for the lead. Clay Morris and Andrew Hardman with Connor Klubin and Ozzy Milwain right in tow, and making his way up at the back of the top 5 is Ariane Pagadala. He didn't end his IndyCar season in the way he wanted, but let's see what he can do in F3.
Yeah, Ian's definitely a very potent driver indeed, as Eric Fenson has just going to set the fastest lap. He's been very, very quick over in the IndyCar. Seems to be adapting well here to the Formula 3s. Mark McDonald, obviously, we've seen him win the F1600 championship before. I wonder if he could do it in a faster machine. He's going to have a bit more downforce in these, but looking at the battles happening throughout the field, there's still very much a lot on the playing field here, as Austin Ozzy Milwain is currently here in P3.
And chasing down Andrew Hardman, Clay Morris, after making the move, has gotten a bit of a gap up there over the first part of the lap, and the exit of Moss is so incredibly important here. Milwain straight in the slipstream and going to draw, no, not going to draw alongside. He's actually going to bump draft Andrew Hardman. We were talking about bump drafting in F3, I think at some point a while ago, Zippy, on one of our Almeida Racing League shows. So that works. Meanwhile, Connor is making his case here for the second spot on the podium. Look at Pagadala as well at the back here. Four-way battle for second.
Oh, it's going to be absolutely epic, and I got a bit. We're going to give a little bit of a shout out.
Contact! Oh dear, Pagadala made contact there with Milwain, and it looks like Ozzy just brushed the tyre barriers there out of turn 1. Sorry, Zippy.
Oh no, by all means, Reese, by all means, carry on. Certainly, I think I'm going to have to name it the Hendricks move. We've seen a little bit of bump draft in there, a little bit of love there for one of our regulars, Mr. Sammy Hendricks. And certainly, you know what, I do wonder if we yet to find anybody who will bump draft pretty much his shopping cart, anything he can get his hands on, his will. As I thought for a second there, they were going down 3 wide, heading towards Moss corner. It certainly would be a brave, albeit maybe not the smartest move, as they make their way down through Moss and onto the Andretti straightaway.
Might be a penalty incoming or something along those lines for Mauricio Parada. He made heavy contact with Stuart Ross coming into the last couple of corners, and that's taken Ross out of the race. He's the next driver to have to make a return to pit lane. But the battle for second is still on here, with Ozzy Milwain keeping his eyes peeled with trying his best to hold on here for 6th place. Mark McDonald, Joseph Yang and Tyler Scarelli have all caught up to him, and well, Milwain needs to lead this charge here. The fastest lap going to Clay Morris in the lead. Looks like he's very comfortable out there. His lead is now out to 1.9 seconds.
Yeah, Clay Morris, definitely a very, very accomplished driver indeed, and does work with Radical Canada as well. So there is definitely a bit of expectation there as we see the underside of Eric Fenson's car. Despite the fact he is down under, I can actually see down under his car at this point. Definitely a fun camera angle there. I think, honestly, at this point, our producers just flaunting the angles. But I can tell you, Stuart Ross and Mauricio Parada did both have meatball flags. They had that fast repair, and it's fair to say they would have cashed that in at this point. But right now, your race leader, Clay Morris, pulled clear by about 2 seconds. And then we have an absolutely fantastic battle going on from second all the way down to 5th.
Eric Fenson for Entropy Sim Sports in the slipstream of Ariane Pagadala as Connor Klubin and Andrew Hardman continue fighting. There goes Fenson up the inside into 4th place. Good job at turn 8 there. One of the prime overtaking opportunities on this lap. Basically, the rest of the lap is setting up for that one move. And Clay Morris has just gone even faster. 110.3 is now the fastest lap of the race. It's looking like clear air is very important in these F3s.
Yeah, certainly as we go through the season, we're going to see more and more what's going to work for the strategy. I don't think aero wash is too much of a thing, but some of these cars, I mean, we've had a good portion of the season there with Almeida, and we're starting to see some of the behaviors. And literally, these guys, despite the fact there's a good amount of downforce, you will see the cars almost sliding around a little bit here. I think the slower speed corners, we're going to see it come all into emphasis there, where they won't have quite as much pushing down on that front wing, on that rear wing, trying to push those tyres there into the ground. But certainly, it's a challenging car to drive in its own right. And very much you have to push it to the limit to get the most out of it, and as you were saying, really focus on getting a good slipstream as they head down this straightaway.
Maybe time for another move for Eric Fenson. He's steadily marching his way up through the top 5, isn't he? Looking at 4th place with Andrew Hardman up ahead. Nice clean lines on your way through the final few corners. Connor Klubin up ahead in 2nd place. He's having a bit of trouble keeping it fully on the tarmac, it seems. I saw him catch the grass into turn 10 ever so briefly. There's a lot of pressure on you when you're leading a pack like this, but as we've said, it seems that having no one in front of you is the recipe for setting those fast laps. So he's looking pretty comfortable at the moment. View back from Hardman, you can see how much of a gap the top 5 now has over the rest of the field.
It does look like we've got a bit of a battle happening a little bit further back as well, from P11 down to about P14, P15. And that battle there being led by Cedric O'Hyan. We've got a couple of the Lima Racing cars, actually. He's got his teammate right behind him. Are we going to see a little bit of team tactics here? As I say that, it looks like there's a move happening on the inside. It looks like Robert Ridgway, he started a little bit further back in the grid. He's currently up an advanced 8 positions. He's a hard charger, but going side by side with the Lima Racing car of John Benvelid.
Yeah, good job there from Ridgway, one of the first here at BiS back in the Flying Husky Racing days when they raced F3. This looks like side by side into turn 8 for them, and the move will be complete just about for Ridgway, but my goodness, they are pushing hard through these last couple of corners. Great outside move there from Ridgway. Benvelid's still going to hold on to the outside line. This is far from over. There was almost a change for 2nd place up the road as well, but keep our eyes on this fight here, because it looks like Ridgway has finally gotten the move complete. But look at how far ahead O'Hyan's gotten in the midst of that.
Absolutely read my mind there, Reese. I mean, if of anything, it does mean that we've maybe got a good team championship battle emerging here. We've obviously got Ridgway Racing Setups, Richard Swindell. He looks to have a crackdown at John Beverly. And I know that Rob's going to know this off the top of his head, but I believe Richard's slogan, he might not be fast, but he lasts, ladies and gentlemen, and certainly that appears to be what he's doing right now. He's up 4 positions. His teammates managed to make his way by. As we see a spin in the background, I believe that's Connor Janateus, if I'm not mistaken. It is the number 44, the CC Mosports car, almost going right into the back of that wall.
Yeah, he looks like he's escaped too much damage. Also saw Mark McDonald recovering off the exit of Moss there. He spun on the way in, so he's down a few spots himself. Benvelid, meanwhile, giving up a position to Richard Swindells as the battle for 10th is on, with Keenan Harris and Cedric O'Hyan still racing hard here. Man, we're only going to have 4 laps to go here, and it's far from being decided exactly where everyone except Clay Morris is going to finish. Morris's lead is out to nearly 3.5 seconds now, but that pack from 2nd through to 6th is still on. Actually, worth pointing out, Milwain has caught back up just about to this battle.
Yeah, he's definitely got a chance at a recovery drive, and we've seen Neil Wayne certainly in BiS for a long while. He is one of the previous Radical Cup Canada champions as well. He did get to have a real-life test experience in that car himself, and Zach Buchanan that season. Definitely, actually we got himself, and we also got Mark McDonald in there, who is a previous winner of the F1600 championship. So definitely good to see these guys going back as we're going side by side a little bit further up, ladies and gentlemen. And you can see there, absolutely fantastic battle is Andrew Hardman, and I believe he's going on side by side with Connor Klubin.
Yeah, Klubine here, keeping second place very nicely, and looks like we've lost Connor Janataeus, unfortunately. It seems that damage was a bit too much for him. Oh, here comes Eric Fenson. Oh, right behind these two, looking for a move on Hardman in the middle part of the lap, and oh, hello, looking for every single move there. Fenson makes the pass on Hardman. That was perfectly timed there. It has given Klubine just a little bit of advantage, but if they can hold on to the momentum, they'll be able to catch back up to him. Not much time to get things decided.
Yeah,
oh, that's a big slide.
They got to keep in mind, as well as another one from Benson. At this point, he's showboating, but it's going to be the opportunity as well for Ian Pagadala. I got to say, he does appear to have cooled down a little bit, which is good, because honestly, he's a great racer. Just goes in a little bit too hard at times, a little bit too spicy, and he's definitely been a little bit better behavior today here at Mosport. As you can see now, that car, the number 3 of Andrew Harbin, almost getting boxed in there as Ian Pagadala trying to go around the outside. He's going to put him on the inside for the next corner, and he'll be back on the outside as they make their way around the final corner. It's going to be side by side, 3 corners in a row. Who's going to keep it going as they make their way down towards the line? 2 laps left to go.
Nearly banging wheels through turn 10 there, and Aussie Milwayne has joined the party again. Pagadala goes off the circuit, and that's Milwayne with the position there. Let's see if any red mist descends over the red number 19, with Aussie Milwayne now finally looking at a top 4 position once again. Got to be careful not to run too far wide out of that corner. The grass and the curb creeps up on you out of nowhere. Well, any move at Moss? Not quite. Milwayne will have to stay behind for another couple of corners, get the exit right from Moss. It has spread out this battle for what is now 3rd. Joseph Yang looks like he'll start to join this one. He's about a second behind Pagadala as we speak, and white flag is almost in the air. Clay Morris has had an absolutely fantastic race here, starting in 3rd, grabbing that lead very early on, and he's going to be taking the white flag here, starting to encounter some lap traffic as well. Looks like that's Alex McLean ahead.
A little bit of an unfortunate start there for Alex McLean. See Ian Pagadala getting a little bit of the grass kicked up there, but very much able to stay with the pack as they enter the final lap. Now this is going to be a case of high risk, high reward, perhaps, as the positions from this race will indeed define where they'll start for race 2.
Indeed, you're competing for the best grid spots here. Get those points, get the position, and you can set yourself up for a good night. That's wide for Hardman, and that's going to allow Milwayne through into 4th. Can Pagadala get amongst this here at Moss? Hardman struggling to keep the momentum up there, but he keeps the position into the corner, and it's all going to come down to that acceleration zone. This is all that is needed for a slipstream down the back straight on your way down to turns 8, 9, and 10. The fight will continue as Clay Morris is about to take the checkered flag here, side by side into turn 8 there, just as we cut away to find Clay Morris coming round the final corner to take the first win of the season in BiS Formula 3 2025. A beautiful drive from the number 48, and it's a drag race between Hardman and Pagadala. Oh, they crossed the line in the wall. It looks like Hardman just had the position there.
And looking a little bit further back as well, we've got a battle going on for P12. It's almost side by side. Are they going across the finish line or indeed up an arc there? You see the 2 Ridgeway Racing setup cars able to get up and over across the line. It does look like we're going to have an interesting team championship. And actually, the hard charge for that race was indeed Robert Ridgeway. He gained 9 positions, closely followed by Cedric O'Hyan, who took 8. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that battle. Lima Racing versus Ridgeway Racing setups, I think could be a good one here for this season.
Yeah, very interesting teams fight yet to come. Well, there we go for Alex McLean, basically taking the finish here, last driver to do so. Clay Morris has decided to back off here and allow McLean to take the checkered flag and complete the full race distance. But yeah, Clay Morris should be very proud of what he's managed to pull off there in the first race. But that's a good lesson for everyone. If you want to make a move, make it quickly and get back in line, because you don't want to lose time to the leader.
Yeah, definitely not. What I can do is give you guys a little bit of an update on the internet situation for Assad Nakada about the 230 car. His network has an outage right now, says that a cable got ripped. So it's fair to say he's probably going to be missing this first race, this first three races here for the BIS Formula 3 Championship. But let's take a quick look here at the results, Reese.
Yes, indeed. Clay Morris taking the win there with Connor Klubine and Eric Fenson rounding out your podium. Milwain and Hardman round out your top 5 with Pagadala, Yang, Ohayon, Broomhead and McDonald rounding out your top 10. Keenan Harris gained 1 position to 11th. Robert Ridgway with the most positions gained in the field. Benvalid, Swindells and Teseo round out your top 15 with Colander and Broody 16th and 17th. Some good positions gained for Tyler as well. Scarali, Parada and McLean are your last finishers with Ross, Janateus and Nakadambev, your unfortunate retirees from that one. Well, we don't really need to read out the grid for this one because it's basically defined as the results from race 1. So we'll see how the momentum can continue for the likes of Fenson, for Ridgway as well. Great positions gained in race 1. Can they pull it off more?
Certainly, I'm wondering if Clay Morris can indeed do what we've seen happen in some other Formula 3 leagues, and indeed if he can stay left basically unchecked, he may be able to cash in and get a second win there. I mean, we know he's a potent driver, he's a very capable driver, but you got to wonder as well, are these guys, are they going to be looking for the outright track position? Are they going to be thinking about the long game? I think in that third race, that feature race, the 21 laps, I think we're going to see a little bit more reserve judgment being used in an effort to save fuel.
Yeah, potentially. That's obviously something you'll need to think about. It's going to be difficult, I think, to balance having to make your moves with keeping in the slipstream and saving what fuel you can. So let's see how race 2 goes first, though. It's going to be another out-and-out sprint like it was in race 1. And we'll get ourselves in for the standing start once again here. Just a few seconds remaining on the grid timer. And Clay Morris will lead us away from the pole. Have to nail this standing start. Okay, grid timer's up. Time for race 2. Revs rise. Make sure that you get the clutch down very nicely here off the start. Little bit of wheel spin there from Connor Klubine, but he gets a great run into turn 1. Not enough to demote Clay Morris from the lead. And Clay Morris will lead your way out of turn 1. Klubine already having a look at the inside there, but maybe part of that was a defense from Fenson, who is managing to stay in third. We got cars off on your way through turn 2, almost into the barriers for Tyler Scarali and Robert Ridgway. And Mauricio Parada has crashed. He has lost his rear end, and it looks like that's going to be day done for him.
It looked like Eric Fenson there maybe getting a little bit in the grass as well, a bit further back. What these drivers have got to remember as well, cold tyres, ladies and gentlemen. You see another little bit of flirtation with the opposite.
Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, we got cars mounting other cars. Looks like Alex McLean, Richard Swindells, and Stuart Ross. Oh no.
Still on there.
Wow, okay, that is far from ideal. How on earth did that even begin? It looks like it was started by contact, John Benvalid on Ariane Pagadala at Moss. So not ideal on the first lap here. We've lost Parada, we've lost McLean, we have definitely almost lost Stuart Ross and Richard Swindells from all of that one. It was a 6-car incident, Zippy. So yeah, Clay Morris and Connor Klubine, they'll continue to jet away in the top 2 spots. But let's have a look at what happened down at Moss.
Yeah, certainly these drivers got to remember it's cold tyres, and here we are. This is one of the Lima racing cars, sadly. You can see there, everything's looking good. That's Pagadala in the red and white. It looks like Pagadala misses the brake point, gets into the back of that blue and white car, and then there's an accordion effect. Lima Racing puts on the brakes, hops the curb, but I want to put eyes on Alex McLean because somehow he ends up on top of one of these guys. That's Alex McLean in the purple car coming in there. There's one of the Ridgway cars, and yep. Oh dear.
Yeah. Hard to react when you're committing to Moss. It's actually quite a high-speed entry into that corner. So, yeah, not surprised that there were multiple drivers caught up in that. We've got an onboard here, seeing it happen up ahead. I believe this is from McLean's perspective. Yeah, that is ugly. That is an ugly incident, and he finds himself with no tires contacting the asphalt. No choice but to escape back to pit lane from there for Alex McLean.
I gotta admit, for a second there, I felt like he was a big Frank Sinatra fan, and "Come Fly With Me" was certainly on the jukebox for that occasion. But we should probably return to the race. Good call there. As you see, Clay Morris has not been able to run away. The 65 of Cluebine keeping him very honest in that CarQuest sponsored car.
Yeah, it looks like a bit more of a spaced out fight here in the top 9. They're giving each other a reasonable amount of space, enough to get the slipstream, but far back enough that they can still attack the corners fully there. Joseph Yang, though, deciding to make some moves. He tries to pass Andrew Hardman into turn 8, but Hardman holding strong, and that's going to bring Eric Fenson back into contention for the battle for 4th. But Connor Cluebine still chasing Clay Morris, who's just taken the fastest lap. Once again, it's the leader with all of that fresh air running over the front wing that gets the pace early on.
As I say that, I can see somebody going side by side there. That may indeed be a little bit of lap traffic there, as the 65 is still very much in hot pursuit of the 48 at Clay Morris. And I gotta say, I was right, Reese. He is indeed running a Rear Tools livery. Obviously, Rear Tools deciding to sponsor Radical this season. Absolutely fantastic stuff there. Somebody looked like it's going a little bit wide there. Yeah. Lap traffic trying to get out of the way. Very considerate, I have to admit. As that's a little bit of a slide there from Joseph Yang. Fantastic to see him back, but is it going to cost him on the straightaway? Making a little bit of contact there. Bumping wheels for Eric Fenson as he rejoins the track.
And the lap car in question was Robert Teseo, and yeah, Joseph Yang with a terrible run out of Moss. Broomhead might get him here as well, up to 6th place for our league admin, and can he hold on to it is the question. Outside run through turn 8 and keeps the speed up nicely, and that's going to be move complete there for Broomhead. It brings Mark McDonald and Keenan Harris right into it as well. All these drivers fighting down to 9th place for the moment. And there looks like there's opportunities for moves at every single corner here, but it's all about holding the alternate line, making sure that you have the inside line into the next corner. That's the key for success here.
Yeah. That was a pretty tidy camera as well, looking from the rear fuselage out through the wing. I thought that was pretty damn tasty there. Let's give the producer some credit where it's due. And let's even give Mark McDonald some credit where it's due, because right now he's up 2 positions. Actually, Connor Chanatalis is the hard charger. He's up 10. Fair play to him, but McDonald currently there in PA. He's got Joseph Yang ahead. He can see Mike Broomhead. Can he slingshot his way past his teammate Nicholas Calander? Just 2 cars back, albeit about 4.5 seconds down the road.
Oh, don't make it 3 wide into turn 8, guys. Joseph Yang moving on Broomhead as Mark McDonald gets in on the action as well. He passes Broomhead as well. No opportunity for McDonald to pass Joseph Yang, though. He'll have to consolidate that position for the rest of the lap. Have another go next time by. 7 laps remaining for these drivers. Man, this is a great race.
Oh, it really is. The Formula 3, I was a bit unsure how I would rate this. Certainly BiS always has some good quality racing, but I gotta say, this is a lot more fun than I anticipated. It's one of these where, while I accept that I'm not going to be the best driver in this, I'm actually really enjoying it in the commentary booth. As you see, Broomhead currently up 1 position and very much under attack there with Keenan Harris right behind him. Hard charger still Connor Janateas. He's up 10 spots, currently resting in P12, but Clay Morris, though, still under attack. Cluebine has managed to keep that gap under 4/10 of a second.
Yeah, not as much of a getaway as Morris enjoyed in race 1. So Connor is going to be right on him here. Look at how strong the slipstream is coming into turn 10. But Connor very wisely backs out of the throttle on the way into turn 8. He knows that if he passes Morris now, there'll be plenty of opportunities for him to get him back. So try and make that move at a crucial point late in the race and give yourself the opportunity to hold on.
Yeah, I'm starting to think as well that he's maybe hanging back because he knows if he starts fighting with Clay Morris and Ozzy Milwane's going to come up to play, and we know that Milwane's a potent driver as well. We've seen him here. He's done well in BIS. Previously, he's obviously won the Pro category for the Radical Cup Canada. And, you know, I definitely would be trying to play strategically. All he's got to do is stay up in the rear wing of Morris to stand a chance of getting the top spot of the podium.
Yeah, if these guys start battling, Milwane is going to be right there with them, and I think he might drag Hardman with him as well. Andrew's not too far behind Aussie, as you can see just there. So keep your eyes peeled for any gains to be made. Keenan Harris has passed Michael Broomhead, and it looks like John Benwalid, looking at the wrong place on the timing screen there. It seems that there's other moves being lost my train of thought there. There's other moves happening further back in the top 10. Yeah, it's very easy to lose track of where you are with how much action there is going on here. Nicholas Colander and Tyler Scarali fighting over 10th place, and not a bad run for Scarali, all things considered. Remember, we saw him in the grass at turn 2 on lap 1.
Yeah, definitely. He's had a little bit of a rough go. Now, we are debating as well. Now, is that a little bit of damage there on the front of Nicholas Colander, or is indeed that the paint job? It is Rust Racing after all, despite the fact it's a chrome finish. I love the oxymoron of it, ladies and gentlemen. It is a little bit controversial there, as it does appear to have fixed itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, there was indeed a flying fairy with a buffer pad out there who's just gone and given that car a good shining. As Nicholas Colander there currently having a little bit of a battle, but it looks like we've got one further up as well.
Harris!
Now, Harris has gone off.
Yeah, there he is in the background there. That's very deep at Moss. He was stopped at the side of the circuit. I can't tell if that was a hardware issue or something along those lines. He just ran a bit deep into Moss and then came to a stop. I think maybe dealing with a real life issue there. Keenan Harris, we'll see what happened to him on board here. Nothing out of the ordinary, really. He did go a bit deep into Moss, but straight on the brakes there. Tried to turn in, but obviously no grip on the grass.
Yeah, it does look like he just maybe went a little bit deep there and then was trying to time when he would rejoin. So fair play to him. You know what? It doesn't always go to plan, but if it doesn't, you know, good rejoin there. As it looks like we've got a battle now emerging between himself and Robert Ridgway. These guys just a 10th of a second between them.
Yeah. Very nice fight happening between these guys, and well, we see a third car in the midst of all of that, but that is not for position. Looks like we've just lost Aryan Pagadala as well. He's just towed back to pit lane. I am unsure what has gone on for him. He came back out of the pits after his incident, and it looks like he's decided to call it a day for race 2 at the very least. Okay, that explains it. Heavy contact into the wall. Yeah, that will do it. Is that contact, it seems? Trying to make the move through turn 8 on, not sure who that is, but that was Connor Janataeus, I believe. Klubine, yeah. Yeah, okay, so Pagadala, yeah, it's the 67 of Stuart Ross. Okay, right, so none of the Connors. All right. So, that was for position. It looks like Ross probably not at too much fault there. Looks like Pagadala just turned in, and, well, you couldn't really expect Ross to go any further left than he was.
Yeah, honestly, it's maybe a little bit of karma coming back after Pagadala had that incident earlier on. Maybe got a little bit into the back one of the other drivers. I guess it's just karma coming back for him in some ways. But Connor Klubine currently still up at the top of the field. He's right behind there. Clay Morris. Morris hasn't been able to shake him this time around. He's been holding that gap steady about 2-3 tenths per second, 4 tenths at most, but not been able to break the draft. Ozzy Milwane and Andrew Hardman have, however, got closer. They've been closing in on the last couple of laps there. I do have a feeling we're going to see a 4-way battle if they can keep closing in for the final fight of this race.
Yeah, 2 laps to go. Connor Klubine continuing to pressure Clay Morris here, but Like I said earlier, he's got to be very careful when he makes his move. Milwane and Hardman have been gaining on these guys over the last couple of laps, and Milwane was actually the fastest car on track last time by with a 110.619. Not that much faster than Morris and Klubine. Oh my God! Oh, that's going to end things for Aussie Milwane. Spin at Moss, and that's going to put him outside the top 5, maybe even the top 6.
Definitely not what he had in mind, but don't get me wrong, he recovered once. Can he recover it again? He's now dropped down all the way to P7. You can see he's got 2 cars in close contention, the 46 of Joseph Yang, who's effectively boxed him in just there. He's going to have to go inside. He thought about it. There isn't the room. Are we going to see a free wide there as they head down into the right-hander? Yang not quite able to get alongside, but despite that, and despite the other incidents we've seen here, I've got to say the engines do appear to be running. Certainly, I'm calling out a specific person who may be watching this right now, but at least the pistons are not bent. Sorry, the connecting rods. The connecting rods are not bent.
Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Final lap has begun in the meantime, and Connor Klubine and Clay Morris, well, it's between them for the win. And you can see the Klubine's dropped back a bit from Morris, but I think that is tactical. I think he's dropping back a bit to get the full benefit of the slipstream coming out of Moss. He just needs to be careful to get on the power at the right time. That's a lovely smooth run through the corner, maybe a bit too much of the runoff on the exit, but he now has the slipstream. Can Clay Morris hold him off here? Or is Connor Klubine too far back for the move into turn 8? It looks like he might be too far back. He dropped back a bit too far on that previous lap. He is going to have a go here coming into the final corners. Is there any opportunity for him to dive up the inside? Not quite. Clay Morris is going to hold him off here. A little bit of a slide on the grass out of the final corner, and that's going to be 2 from 2 so far for Clay Morris.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Let's head back to P7 very quickly. See Aussie Milwane and Joseph Yang side by side making their way down towards the line, ladies and gentlemen. And it was indeed a very, very close finish. Connor Janis Hayes getting into a bit of action as well. Actually, let's have a quick look back in P18 because I believe John Benvalid is actually going, had a little bit of battle there with newcomer Robert Tessio, as Tessio has just made his way past. No, not quite at the line.
Yeah, looks like it. Battle of the lapped cars between Benvalid and Teseo, both of them having their fair share of difficulties. And, well, now we just need to wait for Ross, Broody and Swindells to take the checkered flag, and that's going to be the end of race 2. Nice consistent run from Tyler Broody. He's kept it clean and he's stayed out of trouble. He's not been the highest finisher, but sometimes it's those consistent results that count. So we will see then the results from race 2. With Clay Morris and Connor Klubine taking your top 2 places, with Andrew Hardman, Eric Fenson and Mark McDonald rounding out your top 5. Good moves from those guys. Broomhead, Milwane, Yang, Scarelli and Colander will round out your top 10. Flip them. They will reverse, and that will be the starting positions for race 3. Janataeus finishing in 11th, with Harris, Ridgway, O'Hyan, Ross and Broody rounding out your top 16, with Swindells the last car on the lead lap. Benvalid, Teseo and McLean all make it 1 lap down, with Nakad and Bev rejoining 2 laps into the race, finishing 2 laps down. Pagadala retiring and Mauricio Parada out very early indeed. Well, that's going to round things off for the second race here, Zippy, and we'll see what we can do to get another view of that 6-car incident down at Moss. Just the defining moment of race 2. Apparently, 6 cars getting involved in the melee down at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, definitely this is something I want to have another look at. So there's a car in the middle, that's Iron Pagadala, and I believe he just went in a little bit late on the brakes. You see 2 of the Lima Racing cars behind as well. Goes in, absolutely devours the back of that. You see the Lima Racing car goes, and instinctively, I've got to admit, goes to the inside, catches a bit of curb there, trying to avoid the incident. Then ricochets in the Pagadala. Here comes one of the Ridgeway machines here, which is about to get smoked by Alex McLean, who's right on cue. up and over, and you can just see the complete pandemonium there. So it's one incident that kind of just ricocheted into others, but I do want to keep it on this frame a second because I got to be power to McLean, and I think Rob Campbell pretty much summed it up here. 4 out of 5 crew chiefs would recommend a 4-wheel F3 car over a 3-wheel car. Fair play, but I got to admit that's definitely the greatest elevation change we've seen from an incident so far.
Absolutely. More elevation change in one corner than around the entire circuit. Yeah, that's yeah. I meant the car as well. I wonder who that car was that Pagadala almost ran into there to start off the incident. Looked like one of the Rust Racing machines. I don't know if it was McDonald or Colander. It was one of our chrome liveried machines. So. I guess that'll be a mystery that we work out after the race and maybe bring to you for the second round. But thus far, this has turned into quite the active night of racing, and I think it sets us up well for the season.
Definitely really enjoying it so far. I have a feeling there's a couple of people in the chat as well. We might have to see if we can get them, certainly get them racing as well. I do know Morgan Smith, I think, is watching as well. Morgan, you should be competing in this as well. Maybe get some WBM guys over and into some of these Formula 3 cars. It definitely would be good to see them in an open wheel format. But I got to admit as well, it's definitely good to see these guys out here, and it's been some great racing so far, and I've really been enjoying it. But I think what they're going to have to do for this longer race, they're going to have to keep an eye on Clay Morris, because if he's able to break away, he's going to check out.
Yeah. Morris, ever since he got into the lead in race 1, he's seemed unstoppable. And, I think we can project ourselves ahead to next round as well, considering the kind of racing that we're seeing here at Mosport. Such high-speed corners, the leader being able to get the gap they need, and the dirty air, it seems, really affecting the pace of the cars behind. That's going to be relevant at Thruxton as well, because that as well is a very high-speed circuit.
Absolutely. But actually, speaking of Thruxton, let's take a quick refresher here over some of the venues that we are indeed going to go and take a stop at. If we could just get that up on screen here, just a second here. There you go. Beautiful. So we're at Mosport for round 1. We're head to Thruxton, the UK track. I just want to point out for round 2. Before we head to Imola, I think that's probably going to be my favorite one of the season. Oh, maybe not. It could be between that and round 5. But before that, we'll have round 4, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Reese's favourite track in that schedule, I imagine. Not for any particular reason. As we could also see Spa, and then closing out, it was, how do you say it, Reese? It doesn't pronounce the way. Jerez, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't do the spelling on that one, and it's not like Jaguar and Jaguar. It is Jerez. That one, somebody please explain to me, because it makes no sense. But if you would like to get involved in this, it is a paid league. It's $30 Canadian to enter. Which honestly, the bang for buck, it works out to be about $167 per race, roughly. That's it, and that's a broadcasted race, ladies and gentlemen, with some absolutely fine talent from all across the globe. So definitely would suggest you get involved. We'll put up that QR code for you here in just a second, as we're going to be getting ready for the final race of the afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you may be, for here at the BiS Formula 3 Championship at Mosport.
Yes, once again, if you want to be part of the action, scan that QR code to join the BiS Sim League's Discord, and make sure to get your entry in if you're interested in racing. It's time for the third and final race, the feature, where we're going to have a pit stop required and a reverse top 10. Nicholas Colander is on pole position with Tyler Scarali alongside. Joseph Yang going to start in third alongside Aussie Mill Wayne. Michael Broomhead has got P5 for the start here alongside Mark McDonald. Then Eric Fenson and Andrew Hardman share the fourth row of the grid. Connor Klubine and Clay Morris, our top 2 from race 2, will take those final 2 positions in the top 10.
Let's have a look at P11. Connor Giannateas is going to be there alongside Keenan Harris for P12. Mr. Ridgway, he's going to be there in P13 with Cedric O'Hyan, the Lima Racing leader, in P14. Stuart Ross takes 15th with Tyler Broody there in 16th. Heading a little bit further back. He's not last, but he's not first, but he last, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Richard Swindell in P17 alongside John Bemblade for Lima Racing. And closing out your top 20, we've got Robert Tessio and Alex McLean. Heading a little bit further back aside the car, and Bev currently running on a cell phone hotspot. It's going to be in 21st with Ian Pagadala in 22nd. And at the back of the grid, Mauricio Parada, who I have a feeling has disconnected from the session.
Yeah, he hasn't come back in, I think, since his crash in race 2. But here we go then. Colander on pole position. Revs rise and we are away. It looks like a bit of a better getaway from Tyler Scarali there, but it's not going to be enough to pass Colander into turn 1. We go through the first turn at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and this is where things are going to start moving around a little bit more. Reverse top 10 means that the fastest drivers are starting in the midfield, and that could introduce some drama side by side throughout the majority of the field.
Absolutely fantastic start. It's good to see everybody is out and about on track aside the car. I'm glad to see he's actually made it out on track, ladies and gentlemen. As you can already see, Clay Morris has not been able to make his way up through the order yet. As I say that, he goes and takes one away from Connor Klubine. These guys have already had some good battles so far, but let's look further up the grid. Nicholas Colander is holding on to that lead. Now, we do know that Mosport can be a fantastic track for defensive drivers. Is he going to be able to hold it off? And not only that, maintain a podium here, as you see Scarali getting boxed in by Joseph Yang.
Yeah, Yang with the best momentum of the top 3 there up ahead. It's 2 by 2 between Broomhead, Millwayne, Fenson and McDonald on the way into turn 8. And it looks like Scarali's going to defend second place from Joseph Yang, just up ahead of them there. Out onto the grass almost there for Yang, but he keeps it on the curb. We have quite a few drivers kicking up that dust. Look at this aerial view, just showing how close the field is at the start of the second lap.
Well, this is absolutely fantastic racing, and as I say that, I think I just heard a bang. I don't see a warning yet.
Yeah, McDonald's crashed.
Damn it. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. Oh, not good. Cars everywhere here. And yeah, Mark McDonald having, it looks like he got on the grass coming out of turn 1, and as he recovered the slide, unfortunately, he ended up getting collected by Andrew Hardman, and I think the both of them are now out, or at least with very heavy damage. Connor Klubine and Connor Janataeus also fallen down the order. I think they got involved in that incident, so yeah, far from ideal goings on for our drivers who have had the most success so far tonight. Scarali, though, going for the lead on Colander around the outside into turn 8.
Yeah, certainly. I do believe Mark McDonald maybe did prefer the F1600, a little bit more familiar to him, so decided to rip the wings off that car just to get a recreation. Sadly, it's not going to work out for him on this occasion, but right now, Colander was able to hold on, but not for very long, as Tyler Scarali has gone and taken the lead as they start on lap 3.
Aussie Millwayne with the fastest lap of the race, 111.6, and they are pushing so hard here. That's wide for Nicholas Colander. He's going to allow Joseph Yang up his inside there on the exit of turn 2, but that becomes the inside for turn 3 right there. And oh, look at the positioning of Aussie Millwayne. He is finding every single gap he can possibly get. There's almost no room for a move there, but he's managed to make it work. Oh man. This is very scary indeed, but Colander holds on, and that's allowed Scarali and Yang to skip away.
Yeah, certainly. I'm actually really impressed with the show that Colander's putting on right now. Don't get me wrong, Millwayne behind you, you've got to have your elbows out, and he's fair to say he's definitely going for the squeeze, ladies and gentlemen. He's trying to try and make a run on the outside, but it looks like Eric Fence's having a good sniff as well. Not quite able to get it done, so while he does be able to hold off both of these drivers, he is able to hold off some as he goes side by side there through the last corner.
And it looks like Millwayne getting the move done on Colander finally. And here comes Eric Fenson with Clay Morris in tow, the winner of the first 2 races here tonight. Stuck in 6th at the moment, but can he make it work here and get back into the top 5? Huge position gain, meanwhile, from Aryan Pagadala. He is up 13 places. He's managed to get into 9th. He is between Robert Ridgway and John Benvalid as we speak. Little bit of grass there for Eric Fenson in the background. That could be the chance that Clay Morris needs.
Yeah, Stanley Clay Morris is going to be keen to try and make his way up through the field. As you see him there making a move on the inside, heading up past Eric Fenson as they go through Moss. Fenson's going to get a wicked draft though. Is Morris going to be able to get one off the back of the number 5? back of Nicholas Calenda. Don't get me wrong, he's a bit further up the road. He's about 6 tenths, almost 7 tenths. Fenson, however, he's about a tenth behind. Now side by side and right behind him, it looks like Michael Broomhead's going to be getting a front row view of this. Is he going to see it 3 wide, ladies and gentlemen? He's certainly thinking about it. Or is Broomhead going to be able to follow through on the inside against Fenson?
Now they stick back into single file, though, on their way through. There goes Fenson into the pits. Okay, so we have our first caller to pit lane. Remember, a pit stop for fuel is required in this final race. Fenson deciding to go early.
Honestly, didn't see that coming. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a 21-lap race there, as Ozzy Milwayne is just going to take in the fastest lap. I'm wondering if he's going to be able to carry enough fuel for this one race.
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely clear on what the fuel numbers are, but evidently Fenson has seen those numbers and decided, yeah, this is the earliest I can pit and still get home. Comes out just behind Tyler Broody, who's unfortunately fallen a lap down. I think he got involved in one of the incidents on the first lap or so. Back up to the battle for 9th, 8th, 7th. Ariane Pagadala has now found his way past Robert Ridgway and John Benvalid to make it 15 places up. A fine recovery from the number 19 so far. And meanwhile, moves happening further up ahead. There goes up the inside. Oh, okay. Looks like Ridgway and Benvalid were fighting amongst themselves, and Joseph Yang has gotten into P3 again, passing Clay Morris. Scarali is way out in front at the moment, not running the fastest of them all. Milwayne making up 5 tenths of a second on him on the last lap.
Yeah, but I've got to say though, in Scarali's defense though, you know, he's doing pretty well. He's not only managed to gain that top spot, but he's able to get away a little bit of a gap there. Don't get me wrong, the gap is closing. Milwayne is potent, but Milwayne's a previous champion, you know. His I rating may only be 3,000. I say only, you know, against the 2465 of Scarali, but he's definitely, I think that's maybe a little bit of sandbagging there. I think Milwayne's probably rated a little bit higher if he did a few more officials.
Yeah, indeed. I rating is a good general indicator of how well a driver generally does, but when it comes to drivers who majority do leagues, it can sometimes be a bit deceptive. Joseph Yang up the trying to get the rear of Ozzy Milwayne there. It looks like maybe half bump drafting, half sort of tandem drafting. Not entirely sure what the deal was there. He's not going to go for the pit lane this time though, and so far seems the only takers to pit lane: Eric Fenson, Andrew Hardman and Connor Janateus. Now Hardman and Janateus, they came in 3 laps ago. I get the feeling they might have to come into the pits again. I think even with Fenson pitting as early as he did, it was a bit too early for Hardman and Janateus.
Yeah, if I have a look though, Hardman did not use his fast repair. Janateus, McDonald and Broody have, so certainly some interesting pit strategies. And you got to wonder as well, is the draft, so far we've seen when the car gets out in front, the clean air does actually help them try and pull away a little bit, but how does it affect the fuel? Do you actually save a good amount by being in a draft? Do you get held up? We're going to have to see these dynamics unfold as battles happening throughout the field. It looks like we've got a big pack actually behind the number 19 car of Ariane Pagadala, starting at P7, going all the way down to P15.
Yeah, have a look at that. A long train of cars, and Robert Ridgway will be continuing to chase down Ariane Pagadala. Broomhead has just passed Colander for P5, but keep your eyes peeled on this group here. It's all the way down to Richard Swindell's in 14th. Any takers to pit lane this time? Doesn't look like it from that angle. But Pagadala, he has clear air now, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of pace he can get there in the clear air, because it seems like Scarali, Milwayne, Yang and Morris, they're comfortable in the high 1-minute 10s, but Pagadala has stayed in the low 111s for the last few laps.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the laps, but it looks like Michael Broomhead now trying to give Nicholas Calanda a little bit of something to think about there in the battle there for P5. Now, Calanda, I've got to say, his defensive game has been absolutely on point today. He's done a very good job against some very fast drivers. Can he keep it up going against the league admin, then the BiS founder of the 00?
And that is the question. Good exit from Broomhead. It looks like Hollander actually caught the tarmac there. There's a few bumps and ruts there that you don't want to catch in a car like this, and that's going to be an easy move for Broomhead there. We've had another take at a pit lane as well. Looks like Connor Klubine has jumped on in, and that will be the next ticked off the list. Ridgeway and Pagadala, it looks like, are fighting over P7 at the moment. Ridgeway's gotten back past Pagadala for 7th.
Yeah, so it looks like we've got multiple battles happening throughout, and you see Broomhead still rocking the Doppler sponsorship. A huge thank you to them for helping us with our IndyCar Championship and a beautiful Uni Jack there on the side of the Little Zero. As we're going to head back to the number 11 car there of Ridgeway. There's just 2 tenths behind to Pagadala. Are we going to see Pagadala fight back? Certainly he's a quick driver, he's a potent driver, but definitely having a little bit of a higher incident count than he'd maybe desire. Can he keep it clean and make his way up towards the higher positions on an absolutely fantastic recovery run so far? Up 14 positions from the start of this race.
Up 11 positions is Asad Nakardambev, who's just in the back of the frame there. He's managed to get into the top 10. So finally, with something resembling a good position on track after qualifying 5th for race 1 and missing out due to an internet issue. So Ridgeway and Pagadala will be keeping an eye on that blue and green machine that's just popping over the hill there. Almost thinking about making a move on John Benvalid there is Asad Nakardambev, not able to get past for the time being. Meanwhile, Joseph Yang and Ozzy Milwane are continuing to fight. Benvalid has come into the pits. So Asad Nakardambev easily takes 9th from there.
Knowing Asad as we do, he's not one to pass up an opportunity to make a pass either. He's a pretty spicy driver, a young go-karter, actually a sponsored go-karter, and is currently running off his cell phone for the internet, and a great play to him, it's actually working for him. I like the commitment. As you see, I am Pagadala there, getting into a little bit of battle, but if you have a look at the front nose cone here of the 230 car, there's an absolutely fantastic logo, which is maybe bringing him a little bit of good luck today.
Yeah, look for those couple of little pixels. We can't quite get the view that we want, but there is a Pit Road Productions logo on the nose of Asad Nakardambev. So great to see him putting our branding on his car there. Well, we are going to have 11 laps to go for our leader Tyler Scaralli, as there's more drivers who have filed into the pits over the last few laps. Anyone in the top 10 deciding to go for it. Pagadala and Ridgeway continuing to fight amongst themselves.
Yeah, and the whole time they keep doing that, Nakardambev is indeed going to start to close in on them. And I think we're going to maybe get a good front row view of that logo very soon, as Nakardambev has got even closer again. The gap down to 8 tenths of a second. Here's the view from the looking very much, well, straight out. It's a selfie cam, ladies and gentlemen, for Ian Pagadala. But right now, if you could see his eyes, they would indeed be focused on the car ahead, the number 11 of Robert Ridgeway.
Yeah, Pagadala has been trying his best to consolidate 7th place for now, but I think he's just backed off a little bit in this mid-phase of the race. Just as I say that, oh God, okay, oh no, that is, well, oh, okay, wow, the miracle. Ariane Pagadala escapes too much damage, but that is not ideal for him in terms of position. I don't know if he lost it on his own or he got some help.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at the replay. We do know he's gone into Moss a little bit hot, and fair play to him. I definitely struggled with that corner. The elevation change especially, and the braking zone, it can be quite difficult, but a good time then to come to the pits. We're going to see if he's going to use that fast repair. I'm going to say he probably is. Let's take a quick look at the replay, see if we can get another angle of it here. You see he's there in the braking zone. And yeah, I think that's fair play. He's done that all on his own. Had a little bit of a nudge there onto the back of the number 11 car, Robert Ridgeway, who thankfully was able to keep hold of it.
Yeah, Ridgeway was going for the slow in, fast out line, and whew, yeah, that was very close for Asad Nakardambev. I think just latency and ping, thanks to the mobile hotspot, showing damage for Pagadala that actually wasn't there. So Pagadala takes that opportunity to get his fuel for the end of the race, and unfortunately he's come out behind Fenson, Hardman and Klubine, so it doesn't look like he's going to gain all that much from that, the spin obviously having something to do with that. Now we wait for Asad Nakadenbev to make his case for a position in the top 7 up the inside of Robert Ridgway into turn 8. Looked like a fairly easy move.
Yeah, pretty clean. It's good to see he is indeed racing. If we have a look a little bit further back through the field as well, we can actually see a little bit of a photo opportunity going on in P17 right now. And it's Cedric O'Hyan and John Bemberlin. Don't get me wrong, these guys are used to running side by side on track, but usually it's in a radical SR3, ladies and gentlemen, as it looks like they are indeed going to have a scrap. I'm all for it, but are we going to see the likes of the same thing that Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris did, in which they took each other out?
Yeah, gotta be careful not to do that, as Benverlid struggling to keep the car straight through turn 9 there. Did you see how much he was soaring away at the wheel there? Benverlid obviously driving a bit too hard for that Formula 3 car. I like the tessellating triangular pattern that they've decided to go with for the F3 there. Usually a smooth British racing green, but man, I do like how the tessellation translates onto the F3 car. Very nice indeed. Moves further up, Milwain and Yang were briefly trading spots for second place, and it looks like we have a call to pit lane from Aussie Milwain. First driver in the top 3 to go for it.
I gotta be honest, it did look like he went in a little bit hot there. We're gonna have to keep an eye on that pit time. He was very late on the brakes there. I do wonder, maybe I'm
no black flag.
No black flag. Okay, so definitely pushing it to the limit there on pit entry and able to get away with it. Unlike myself, who usually gets waved the flag, and it generally tends to be one with the black or indeed a black and orange beep ball flag.
For sure. Well, Ridgway and Milwain come out with a 4.6 second stop for Milwain. Now, compare that to Eric Fenson here, who's trying to make his way around Robert Teseo at the moment, but having a bit of trouble there. Fenson's pit stop was only 3.3 seconds, and that was the earliest pit stop of anyone. So you never know, Zippy. I think you might be right from earlier. Fenson might be in trouble on fuel, but we're going to have to wait and see how the next 7 laps work out before we make a decision on that.
Yeah, certainly he's going to also have to keep in mind as well, his fuel calculation could have been based on him being in a draft. Well, he's been in open air for a good portion of this race now, so the fuel consumption may indeed be higher. We'll find out if he can indeed make it to the end of the race. Looking at the timing screen I've got as well, he is indeed the shortest time in the box by quite a considerable margin, 0.6 of a second.
Yes, indeed. Nakadenbev in, Keenan Harris in, so more drivers from inside the top 10 making their moves to pit lane. Still waiting for Teseo to go to the pits, and it looks like he's actually doing that in the background right there. Eric Fenson will find his way through here on both Harris and Nakadenbev. Get back up in a 9th place. So looks like Fenson's second of the cars running who have come into the pit lane. Harris makes his way out, and it's going to be close here with Connor Klubine on the exit. Looks like Klubine will get that done very nicely. Lots of momentum out of the first turn.
Fantastic stuff here, as it looks like we've got more battles emerging. Robert Ridgway again getting in on the action here with Andrew Hardman. Now, Hardman, he's rocking the MTC Mosports livery, that beautiful blue and gold. I gotta say, it's not green and gold, but it's still pretty damn nice. But are we gonna be able to see him make his way a bit further up through the field, make his way into the top 10 even, as both of these drivers have pit identical times in the pit box, both 4.1 seconds. But who's gonna emerge on top with just 5 laps left to go?
Joseph Yang into the pit lane next. Car that was running in second spot, I believe. Now, let's see where he comes out relative to Milwain and Fenson. Alex McLean drives on through. So does Richard Swindell's 4.2 second stop for Joseph Yang. And it looks like he'll come out just ahead of Milwain. There's going to be a big fight between Yang and Milwain here. Plenty of momentum for Milwain in the number 14. He is right on the back of Joseph Yang, and he sees a little opportunity to the inside there. Yang is forced wide. He's struggling with the rear end. The tyres have had an opportunity to cool down a little in the pit lane, and Milwain has the momentum.
Certainly it's going to be a fantastic battle here. Yang versus Milwain. We saw it happening earlier on. Are we going to see it continue? It's first 0.3 of a second here. Are we going to see strategy come into play? Is Yang basically going to have to hold off and then really fight on that last lap? Well, we're going to see Milwain try and make a move earlier on and chase down, well, realistically, he's in the aggregate P1 of the race right now, is Joseph Yang. Richard Swindell's, McLean, Collender, Brimhead, Morris, and Scarelli Yet, as I say that, Scarelli and Morris both in the pits right now. Let's keep an eye on Yang and see exactly where these guys are going to emerge.
Oh, side by side there. Milwane finally gets it done on Joseph Yang. And Scarelli, 4.5 seconds in the pits. Same for Clay Morris. They are already out of pit lane and making their way back onto the racetrack. Colander and Broomhead, they will fall behind Milwane and Yang. And it looks like it's all going to work out in the favour of Tyler Scarelli. He is still out there by 1.5 seconds over Clay Morris, but Milwane and Yang catching up to Morris in the number 48. In the meantime, it looks like we've lost Connor Klubine. Unfortunately, contact with Nakardambev back on lap 15. That has unfortunately put an end to Connor Klubine's night, which is a real shame considering he podiumed in the first 2 races so far.
Oh, here we can see Tyler Scarelli out there in P1. You can see him there. That was his pit entrance. And there you go. Oh, there's Klubine. And it's fair to say that looked like it hurt.
Yeah, it certainly did. So remember that Nakardambev is running from a mobile hotspot there. Little bonk there on the way out of turn 8. And Klubine had no control over the car from there. Across the curb and smashing into the tyre bundles. A real shame there for Mr. Klubine. But the race is still ongoing. 4 laps to go for our leader, Tyler Scarelli, with Clay Morris, Ozzy Milwane and Joseph Yang chasing him down.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, and indeed it'd be a great way for BiS to get a start. Generally, they put in a good attendance, but don't necessarily get on the podium too often. But if Scarelli can hold on, if he can get a race win, I think it'd be his first here as well. Definitely, he's been on the podium before, I'm sure of it. We'll have to check. We'll have to check the resources, but I don't think Scarelli's yet made it onto the podium. This could be an absolutely fantastic way to make such an entrance.
Oh, it certainly could. There's a lot of opportunity here for Scarelli to come away with a great win, but he needs to maintain that pace up the front. Remember that the car is going to be heavier than it was before, not by much. It's not much of a fuel drop that you need to get to the end of this feature race, but that extra weight can play with the handling just a little bit. Milwane defending from Yang for the final spot on the podium coming into turn 8, and looks like Yang is deciding discretion is the better part of valor, and he decides he's going to have another opportunity later.
I do have to wonder if Yang's actually like going for the pass, or if he's just trying to keep Milwane occupied. The whole time he does that, Milwane's going to drop back a little bit there to Clay Morris, who has indeed pulled in about a second that last lap, about 0.7 of a second even on Scarelli. If Scarelli wants to hold on to this top spot, he is really going to have to put the elbows out against the 48, who's looking to try and claim a triple crown here at Mosport tonight.
Indeed. Well, Andrew Hardman into the pits for the second time there, and that's for his scheduled stop. Unfortunately, Hardman, one of the drivers involved in the incidents in the early laps that took out the likes of Mark McDonald. So that's going to be the field cleansed. Everyone has taken their pit stop. The big question mark is still Eric Fenson in P5. You see him all the way back there in the background. He once again has the shortest pit stop of anyone, and he was the first just about of anyone to take a scheduled pit stop. So can he last these last 2 laps as Morris rounds up Scarelli for the lead?
Yeah, he's certainly going to try and apply the pressure now. The question is, are we going to see Morris try and force the move on Scarelli earlier and then use Scarelli as a little bit of a blocker there against Milwane and Yang? Or are we indeed going to see the Radical Britannia iRacing driver hold back and maybe make a move on the last lap? Scarelli definitely had some pace here today, but is it going to be enough to hold on to that top spot?
That is the question. He's managed to get the move done where it matters. And we know how fast Clay Morris is. He is a rapid machine there in the number 48, and there's a lapped car up ahead too that might make a little difficulty here. It's Mark McDonald who's up there, last car on the lead lap for the moment. Here comes the slipstream then for Clay Morris. White flag will be in the air and ready to wave when they come across the line next. Is this the move that Clay Morris needs to make to get the lead, or is he going to wait one more lap? The car stalls out a little bit. He's going to keep the power in through turn 8, but he's going to stay behind for the moment. Scarelli will lead us across the line to begin the final lap of the race, but Morris is coming.
much as I love Clay Morris, I gotta admit, I'm gonna cheer on for Scarelli for this one, because if you have a good look at the side pod of that car, you bet it, ladies and gentlemen, that is a Pit Road Productions logo. We've never been P1 here. Can we do it this time round, as Clay Morris is very much in hot pursuit of that gap down under 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Mark McDonald jumps out of the way there. Actually, no, that's Tyler Broody, my apologies. Broody deciding to get right out of the way of our leaders. Down to Moss, they come. And who is latest on the brakes? Who carries the most speed in? Scarelli, a lot more aggressive, and he's run a bit wide there, but that isn't the worst thing in the world. If you run a bit wide, you can get on the power earlier and straighten up the car, and he's managed to gain that momentum back in the short term, but the slipstream is with Clay Morris. Here he comes, trying around the outside of turn 8. This is going to be wheel to wheel for the race win on the final lap of the night, and just ahead is Clay Morris. Scarelli draws alongside. He's going to keep his foot in it as Tyler Scarelli. He's going to keep his foot in it and keep the... Oh no, he spins! He spins out of the final corner, and Clay Morris makes it 3 from 3 at Mosport. Tyler Scarelli right at the end. Too much power.
Let's go with the camera back, if we can, onto Scarelli, because I have a feeling he absolutely hooked it in reverse. As we see another race going on, it looks like that's between Ridgeway and Nakada, as we see debris all over the track at the start-finish line. That's one way to finish the race. Scarelli, I can tell you, did get 4th. I do want to see the ending, though, as Nakada and Harris, less than a 10th between him, but Clay Morris able to take the Triple Crown tonight. I definitely want to see a replay of that final corner, though.
Yeah. Well, Scarelli certainly was, it looks like he did drop it in reverse, and one of the pieces of debris there was a piece of Joseph Yang's rear wing. There was heavy contact between Scarelli and Yang there, so... Yeah, that is definitely worth a replay. But Clay Morris, well earned 3 from 3 wins tonight, and this is how he got it done. So coming into the final corners, I understand Scarelli's attitude here. He knows that he has the win in hand potentially, and he wants to get it done. But tight on the way into the final turn here, he just gets on the power a little too early. Maybe got unsettled over that bump on the apex as well. The slide begins there, and it just keeps going, and there's no recovering it from there. So that's the moment that Tyler Scarelli loses the win, but then he gets it sort of 180 degrees to the race direction. Here comes Joseph Yang, and yeah, that was right across the line there. Bit of a kick flip there for Joseph Yang, and Scarelli gets turned in the right direction to take 4th.
Yeah, maybe going to get sponsored by Tony Hawk next. Definitely an interesting incident review. We definitely see the intention there. I'm not sure how I'd review on that one, but thankfully I'm generally not asked about that. Yang didn't really suffer as an outcome. He still ended up getting the same place he would have done regardless. So I think Scarelli may be in the green for that one. But I've got to say, what an absolutely action-packed evening of racing that really was. We should do the results.
Yeah, while we have a moment to catch our breath, Clay Morris, win number 3 from the first round of the championship, with Milwane and Yang rounding out our podium there. Scarelli and Fenson, your top 5. Good job from Eric Fenson to keep that going there. Michael Broomhead finishes 6th ahead of Ridgeway, Nakada and Keenan Harris, with Ariane Pagadala rounding out your top 10.
As we have a look at P11, Nicholas Calando, I got to say, he put in a great defensive drive today. Power to him. I don't think I would have managed to hold on to P11 there, but he managed to do it there with Alex McLean in P12. Richard Swindells for Ridgeway Racing Serbs. He's there in P13 with John Beverly in 14th. Andrew Harmon takes 15th, but another one of the Lima Racing drivers there in 16th. Newcomer Robert Tessio, he took 17th with Mark McDonald in 18th. Connor Janateas in 19th, and closing out your top 20 was Tyler Broody. As we have a look for the last 3 cars of Connor Klubine, Stuart Ross, and indeed Mauricio Parada.
Yeah, a few drivers that won't be too happy with how their first round of the season went, but Zippy, I understand you've managed to catch up with Clay Morris, our clear round winner.
Oh, I've got to say, Clay, I mean, is there any part of the evening that disappointed you today, or, did you just come with excellence? Like, what an absolutely fantastic result, and a beautiful new paint as well. echoing the real life radical of Robert Burgess there with the Rear of Tools livery. But Clay, tell us a little bit about how you prepared for this race at Mosport.
Yeah, I know this track so well. I'm here what feels like every other week in real life, and I've driven it in iRacing so much. I think I spent maybe 2 hours over the week just joining the public sessions that people put up, enjoying lapping. But that was a fantastic race. My heart is going proper. That was amazing racing with Tyler. It really sucks what happened out of 10, but he still managed to pick up fourth, and that was amazing racing.
Yeah, definitely. I was looking at the replay as well. I do wonder, did you guys have a little bit of contact as he started to go around? And fair play to you, you did hold it as well. And again, Tyler, a great job holding onto it. But Clay, heading to Thruxton for the next round. How do you feel about that track? Certainly not one you would have been necessarily to in real life, and myself neither, actually, which is a bit of a shame. But definitely a different set of challenges for you.
Honestly, I don't even own Thruxton in the iRacing service, so I'm a bit nervous for it. I'll have to learn the layout in the couple of weeks leading up to the race and see how I do. I don't even know what to expect, what type of circuit it is or anything.
Well, fair play to you, and we are going to wish you the best of luck. But Clay, before we let you go, is there anybody you'd like to shout out today?
Yeah, I'll thank Mike for kind of making this livery and setting up the series. And yeah, thank you to Tyler for such good racing. I was in a call with him for this race, and yeah, it was a great racing.
Well, absolutely fantastic stuff. And I can't say, I don't think we've ever had this happen before. Reese, correct me if I'm wrong. Have we ever had somebody win 3 sprint races in a row in one night here on in BiS?
Oh, I'm sure it's happened at some point, probably in one of the earlier seasons of F1600, but yeah, first time in a while at the very least.
Well, there you go, Clay. Definitely you can hold your head high. But Reese, I believe you've been able to catch up with the second place finisher for the final race, Mr. Ozzy Milwain.
I have indeed. Despite your pace tonight, Aussie, that final race was the only podium you managed to get out of this first round. It was difficult, very close racing for the first night of the season. Obviously, some kinks to iron out there.
Yeah, I took a little break from sim racing actually. It took about a month and a half off. So tonight was my first night turning the PC on. So I'm happy with the end result. Had a bit of bad luck in the heats. I think the pace was there, maybe lacking a tenth or two to Clay. But yeah, a lot of strong runners tonight. I was happy to see Tyler running up front. He was quick. I couldn't really catch him, so kudos to him.
Yeah, absolutely. But still, I think a triple top 10 at the very least is something to be happy with. Fourth, a seventh, and a second out of the first round of the season. Looking at the schedule going forward, any tracks that jump out to you as ones you're going to be strong at?
Honestly, I haven't even looked at the schedule. Let me just pull it up here for a second. What is the next race?
Well, we're going to
Thruxton.
Thruxton for round 2.
No, I don't even have that one, so that'll be interesting. I like Imola. I like Bathurst. I like Spa. I like all of them. So, yeah, looking forward to the season.
Absolutely. And, I guess a good run of results to start things off, kicking off the season well as we ease into F3 action here, Aussie. Anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just Mike for putting this series together. It's getting better and better. And you guys in the broadcast booth, you guys put on a good show.
Thanks very much. Number 14, Aussie Milwain. And finally, Zippy, it looked Tyler Scarali has joined us, last position on the, actually not last position on the podium, but still leading most of the way in race 3.
Oh, mate, Tyler, I felt for you. Certainly that last corner was not what you had in mind, but fair play. You know what? You did a fantastic job. You had that invert grid working in your favor, and then not only that, you managed to stay up and the pole for a good majority of that race. You made Pit Road Productions very proud. But Tyler, tell us a little bit about your race strategy here for Mosport.
Boys, I am shaking. I've been shaking ever since lap 1. It was the strategy wasn't. I mean, I was in P2 and all I thought was just gotta get through the first few laps. And me and Colander had a good battle into 8, 9, and 10. And I was able to get around to him, and I knew if I had pace. Once I saw Ozzy get behind me, that was when my heart started to beat. Because yeah, we know Ozzy's no slouch.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, was able to. I'm not gonna say keep him at bay, but was able to stay up front for many more laps than I thought. Got in the pit, just tried so hard not to make it any type of pit penalties. I've done that in the past. Had a clean pit, then I had Clay Morris behind me, and we all know Clay's fast. So knew the last 5 laps are going to be tough, and I made a couple mistakes. I think just the nerves got to me a little bit, and then God bless Clay. We had a great battle going into 10, and he raced me fair, and it was my own mistake. But if you're going to lose to someone, losing to Clay is not bad. But I'm just happy Joseph got over the line after he kind of smashed into me, and I felt bad about that. But great race.
Yeah, definitely a very entertaining race, and fair play to you. I think my ticker would probably be in front of me and plastered all over my screen at this point, but you definitely did Pit Road Productions very well, very proud, and it's certainly a good start, albeit it was almost a podium. It was a learning experience for you as well. I mean, you definitely had a couple of rough rounds in that thing, but you know what? A P4 in a BIS is definitely nothing to shake a stick at, but we're going to head over to Thruxton for round 2. How do you feel about that track so far? From judging by the competition, not too many of you guys own it, so it's going to be a almost like a level playing field for everybody.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Haven't actually, I don't think, done any laps there. So it'll be fresh for me. Need to make sure I get a lot of practice in between now and then. But just gonna try to learn from tonight and take this momentum going forward.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that indeed was the number 15 car, proudly representing Pit Road Productions on the side of the car. Thank you very much for doing that. You certainly did a better job than I could. Ladies and gentlemen, Tyler Scarelli for the number 15.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that's going to round things off for driver interviews, and looks like Mike Broomhead's going to join us for a bit of a chat here, Zippy, after the conclusion of the first round of the new season.
Well, certainly, Mike, it's good to have you here in the booth. You actually managed to get a decent finish as well, P6. We're not going to give you too much of a hard time for that. I didn't even see you mount over the wall as well. But we're not here to talk about your racing skills or your racing endeavors. Mike, we're here to hear a little bit more about the Formula 3 season that you very kindly set up for us here at BIS. By all means, now's your time to take the floor and indeed do a little bit of recruitment, do a little bit of advertising, and generally try and explain to people, if we haven't already, with such a fantastic evening of racing, about why they need to be involved.
Yeah, you need to be involved because what you saw tonight, it's fantastic racing. It's honestly, I'm sweating so much right now. It was intense from start to finish. It's close. You can go side by side. Some great drivers here. All the great drivers, to be honest, leaving space for each other. It's good, clean fun. We do have endless spots, obviously, up to the iRacing limits there, but it's still open. You can join any of the races. We have 5 more events with 3 races each, just like tonight. So come and join the BiS. I can't speak. I'm not as good as you guys. This is why I'm driving. Come and join the BIS Discord, and we'll get you set up. But it's so much fun to be back in these cars after so long for a lot of us, and they race really well. And they look fantastic too. I hope it was a good thing to watch.
It absolutely was, and definitely will keep you representing on the track and keep me in the booth on that aspect. And indeed, it looks like our producer's looking to try and escape out of there as well. But I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we do indeed keep him locked up behind the scenes. There may be chains involved. We won't get into that too much, ladies and gentlemen. But I've got to say, what an absolutely fantastic evening of racing. I was unsure about how this would be with the Formula 3 car. Certainly, we've seen Indy, we've seen 1600, and we've seen the Radicals as well. But definitely, I've absolutely loved it, and I'm looking forward to Thruxton. Certainly, good to be home at a British track, ladies and gentlemen. I understand Cadwell Park, maybe not the best choice for these cars. I get it. It's definitely one of the skinniest circuits in the world. But what an absolutely fantastic event. Reese, unless you got any closing thoughts, I think I'm just about ready to bring this one to a close.
Yeah, I'm ready to bring it to a close as well. Great first round of the season. Can't wait for Thruxton in 2 weeks' time.
Well, that is you and me both, Reese. But I think that's going to be it from us here at Pit Road Productions. My name is Haz, and I guess always will be Daniel Zippy Salmon. And joining me in the booth today, Reese, the Southpaw Racer Gardener. By all means, check him out on Twitch. And at the production controls, Mr. Christian Hill. And again, a huge thank you to all of these drivers as well here at BIS, and indeed to our very own BIS founder, Mr. Mike Broomhead. But if you want to see more of BIS, you're going to have to wait till next week. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you soon.